The letters TDY. They don't really sound that intimidating to anybody, but to me as a 10-year-old, they definitely were. TDY basically meant that my dad was going away for an entire year. And as a 10-year-old, it was one of the hardest things that I heard and I had to kind of deal with. Now, TDY, if you don't know, means that my dad was going away because he was in the military, so he was going on an assignment for an entire year. So as a kid, it didn't really hit me, I think, until I actually went to the airport with my father and we were dropping him off. And it was while we were dropping him off that I just cried and cried and cried just like a baby because I knew that my father wasn't going to be there for the rest of the year. I knew that when I went outside to shoot basketball in front of the hoop, he wasn't going to come out there with me. When I played Madden and played video games, he also wasn't going to be there. So it was one of the hardest things to do, so I cried while I went down there to the airport. I cried on the way back, and then I also cried for probably a month or so after that. So it was one of the hardest things that I had to deal with. So as a kid, I started to realize that while my dad was away, we were able to still connect with him. And what that meant, this is pre-FaceTime, pre-Skype, pre-all the technology that we have today. It was phone calls, it was email messages, and then we also sent care packages to them. So after the dust settled and I got a little bit more used to my dad being away, I realized, just like any kid, I had two big problems. My first problem was, how do I stay connected to my dad? He's far away in an entirely different country, so how do we stay connected, me and my mom, how do we stay connected to my father? And also, just like any 10-year-old, I wanted to figure out how I could make a little money in entrepreneurship form. I don't know, for maybe Halloween or potentially for costumes like that. So here's the thing that I did. As a kid, as a 10-year-old, I started what became my very first media company. And it wasn't thought of being this big, huge media conglomerate like CNN or ESPN. It was simply going to be a family newspaper. And this monthly family newspaper that I created when I was 10 years old was specifically a good way for my dad to figure out everything that was going on in our family. So I had information like that was things that were going on with my grandma, my aunt, my uncle, all of those different people in our family. We were able to put that in a care package and send it to my dad. But this wasn't your average family newspaper because I also put in things like African American history. I put in sports tips. I put in quotes, all that information so that you would want to subscribe. And here's the kicker. I sold the subscriptions to my parents, but also to my family members in true entrepreneurial form. So, thank you. I bring all that up because you are a media company. So everybody in this room, it doesn't matter what you're doing. If you have a nonprofit organization, if you're a leader, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're looking for a job, you basically can have your own media company so that you can hit the goals that I hit when I was a little kid. So it really doesn't matter. You are a media company. And so what I'm going to focus on today is breaking down that exact process, because just like you build a media company, just like you taste and create and have something like sweet potato pie, it's a process. So it doesn't just happen overnight. It's something that you have to do step by step by step. And I'm going to break down for you today the 6-step process in order for you to do that as a leader so that you can hit your goals as well, just like I did when I was a kid. The very first step, you get your recipe. You figure out what your marketing plan is. And your marketing plan, and central to their marketing plan, is going to be your who and your what. So your who is who exactly you're targeting. So if you're trying to get a job, it's going to be the person or the company that you want to get a job from. If you are a nonprofit organization, you're trying to raise revenue, you're going to figure out exactly what people you want to raise revenue from. If you're in business, you're trying to figure out how you're generating revenue. So what you're going to do is really paint a picture of exactly who you want to target. And I'm talking about location, I'm talking about age, I'm talking about what it is that they do, but you really want to create that avatar so that people know exactly who you want to target. And the what is your purpose. The why are you going to build your media company? What problem are you going to solve? So the whole entire idea and the purpose is really to create something that will help you hit your goals, whether it be to raise money, whether it be to get a job, whatever it is, you want to be really central and clear about your who and your what. The next thing that you're going to do anytime that you have a pie, you want to make sure that you lay your foundation. Your foundation is basically going to bring everything together. So that could be your website, that could be your blog, maybe it's a campaign that you're running, but the whole entire idea is that you want to have something to bring people back to. And that's what you want to do. Just like the crust in your pie that holds everything together, you're also going to do that from the campaign that you put in place. Now here's where it gets fun. So I want you to imagine you're going into a grocery store and you know that you want to make a sweet potato pie or a cake or whatever your favorite dish might be. You're going to go into the grocery store and you're going to see all these ingredients there. There's all these things that you can put into your recipe so that you can get your final product. So from a digital perspective, that's going to be social media, that's SEO, SEM. There's other tools like creating a podcast, YouTube channel, all these different tools out there. And it's also including offline tools like being part of groups like this. It's also about being and networking face to face. But again, you're going to figure out what all those ingredients are that are central to your actual recipe. So you want to get an idea of everything out there. But here's where everybody usually gets it wrong. You're going to pick and choose one, maybe two of the things that are central to your overall purpose. So going back to step one, there was 2 questions that you answered. You want to make sure that when you pick and choose your ingredients, you pick and choose the ones that are actually going to help you to reach your goals. It's not going to be everything. You don't want to put chili peppers in your sweet potato pie because that's not going to be a good recipe. You want to be really crystal clear on what you're putting into your recipe. You're picking 1 or 2 of those things, and then you're going to basically put that into place. So you're going to start to prepare your recipe. So when you start to prepare whatever it is that you're making, it could be sweet potato pie, you're going to take that and you're going to put it into the oven. And then when you put it into the oven, it's actually going to start baking, and you're going to be in creating exactly what it is that you're looking for. And then you're hoping that you're also going to check it while you're making it. So what that means is that anytime that you have a sweet potato pie, it may be cooking a little bit faster than you want, so you want to make sure that you check what you're doing. So from a leader standpoint, you're going to be looking and seeing how many people are listening to your podcast, or potentially how many people are generating actual revenue for your business, or how much money are you generating as an organization. So you want to make sure that you're checking and keeping tabs on that. And then at the end of the day, you want to keep working to perfect it, but make sure that you enjoy the process, because when your sweet potato pie comes out, you're going to make sure you enjoy it, but the very first time that you make it, it may not be exactly what you want. So understand that you might have to go back through the steps and do it over again so that you can get the desired result that you want. So again, it's not just me that's building media companies, and I know I started out as a kid and what I did to help solve those problems, but these are people that are actually building these media companies. So it could be somebody that is a solopreneur that created a podcast, a millennial podcast, that helps change the way that millennials are looked at and perceived by society. So he created a podcast in order to brand himself, but also as a way to promote his brand as well too. So again, you might do that. Or it might be a nonprofit organization where I interviewed and I talked with somebody who used and leveraged local bloggers to be able to get her name out there, because she had a nonprofit organization that helped victims of sex trafficking, and being able to raise money and create a campaign so that she was able to empower those people to have a better life. So again, there's a lot of different ways that you can use to build a media company, and you definitely want to make sure that you do that. So with that being said, I want to leave you with one final question. And as leaders, as people that are dialed into their community, whether it be their city, their state, or their overall, the world, we want you to build a media company. I want you to build a media company because we need you to do that. So I ask you, what media company are you building today? My name is Gresham Harkless. I'm from Blue 16 Media. My contact information is here. I truly appreciate your time. Thank you.